Back in the 1960s, starting your car wasn't just a step, it was a ritual. You didn't just turn the key and go. First, you faced the manual choke, a tiny knob that held the power to determine whether your engine roared to life. Or sat there wheezing like a reluctant old man. Pull it out just right, and you'd enrich the fuel mixture for a cold start. Too far, you'd flood the engine with fuel. Not far enough. It would sputter and stall like a child refusing to wake up for school. On cold mornings, the choke wasn't a tool. It was a negotiation, a delicate dance with a moody beast under the hood. There were no fuel sensors, no smart systems. Just you, the weather, and your car's temperament. And when it finally started, it felt like you earned it. Today, the manual choke is a distant memory, replaced by fuel injection and computers that handle it all behind the scenes. But for those who remember, the choke was more than a switch. It was the start of every journey and the first small victory of the day. That little button down by your left foot? Nope. It didn't launch missiles or eject annoying passengers. It controlled your high beams. Welcome to the world of the floor-mounted dimmer switch, where toggling your headlights meant mastering. A kind of automotive tap dance. While your right foot juggled gas and brake, and your left worked the clutch, that tiny toe-activated button demanded perfect timing. Flick it just right and bam! You could either light up the road ahead or blind the oncoming driver. Fancy footwork definitely required. Before stalk-mounted controls became the norm, this was the high-tech solution. No touchscreen, no automation. Just old-school coordination. And yes, try explaining to a teenager today that driving used to feel like playing drums while herding cattle at night. Today, it's a relic of a more hands-on era, but to those who remember, that little switch wasn't just practical, it was part of the rhythm of the road. Before dual-zone climate control and cabin ionizers, there was a simpler, breezier solution: vent windows, also known as nature's original air conditioning. These little triangular masterpieces let you fine-tune airflow with surgical precision. Crack it just right, and you'd get a gentle breeze on your cheek. Open it wide, and you'd summon a mini tornado that could cool the cabin or completely rearrange your hairstyle. Perfect for flicking ashes, chatting with toll booth clerks, or grabbing a milkshake without opening your main window. Vent windows were the multi-tool of the open road. But as aerodynamics improved and air conditioning became standard, these clever sidekicks vanished, sealed away by modern design. Today, they're a reminder of carefree summer drives, wind-in-your-hair freedom, and a time when a well-angled window was all the climate control you'd ever need. Before synchros made shifting seamless, driving a manual was a mechanical ballet, and the non-synchronized transmission was your stage. Every shift wasn't just a movement, it was a performance. To downshift, you didn't just pull the lever, you double-clutched. Clutch in, shift to neutral, clutch out, tap the throttle to match revs, clutch in again, then slide into gear. Get it wrong, and the harsh grind echoed like an auditorium full of critics. Get it right, and it was pure symphony. This wasn't driving on autopilot, it was an art form, a rhythm between foot, hand, and ear, where the road dictated the tempo and your coordination told the story. Today, modern gearboxes have tamed the grind and silenced the finesse. But for those who remember, mastering a non-synchro box wasn't just a skill, it was a ritual. One built on timing, instinct, and the sheer joy of being in sync with the machine. Before USB ports and charging cables took over, the dashboard cigarette lighter was the original hot plug. Literally. Chrome-plated, spring-loaded, and glowing like a mini furnace, it was designed with one unapologetic goal: lighting up your lucky strike with flair. Push it in, wait a few seconds, and pop, out came a glowing coil ready to deliver a perfect burn. That is, if you didn't fumble it and send it flying between the seats, triggering a frantic carpet-melting search mission. It was a badge of cool, found in every glovebox ashtray combo, alongside a haze of Marlboro smoke and a leather-scented interior. But as society kicked the habit and tech moved on, the cigarette lighter was repurposed. Now a humble 12V outlet for phone chargers and dash cams. Functional, yes, but nowhere near as dangerously iconic. Today, it's a symbol of a different era, when cars came with a built-in vice and a red-hot sense of style. Before power steering made everything feel like butter, there was manual steering, the automotive equivalent of upper body day at the gym, and that big, beautiful steering wheel. It wasn't just a style choice, it was leverage, pure physics in your hands. Parallel parking a '63 Impala wasn't a task, it was a workout. Every turn of the wheel felt like arm wrestling your car into submission. If you managed to pull off a tight city maneuver without breaking a sweat, you earned real driver cred. Back then, steering wasn't something you did with two fingers while sipping a latte. It took grit, grip, and a little bit of grunt. Today, power steering lets you navigate with a pinky and a shrug. But for the old school crowd, manual steering wasn't a flaw. It was proof you were in control, one parking space at a time. Long before backup cameras and blind spot sensors, there was the dash-mounted rear-view mirror, a shiny little rectangle of chrome confidence perched proudly on the dashboard like a pilot's instrument. No auto-dimming, no digital overlays, and certainly no rear-facing camera feeds, just pure, unfiltered reflection. You had to actually turn your head, gauge distance, and rely on get this, spatial awareness. Mounted low on the dash or header panel, these mirrors were charmingly minimal, but far from ergonomic. You made do, you adjusted, and you learned. To drive, not just react to a screen. Today, mirrors are glued to windshields, packed with tech and warning icons. But back then, this was your rear visibility command center. And if you backed into something, well, it wasn't the mirror's fault. Just another reminder that vintage cars didn't just require style, they demanded skill. Before climate control turned us into comfort addicts, there was the wing window, a marvel of analog airflow engineering. These tiny triangular panels weren't just cute, they were your own personal weather system. Tilt it just right, and you'd summon a cool mountain breeze. Open it wide, and you'd get a wind tunnel straight to the face. The perfect cure for fog glass, stale air, or an overheated drive on a scorching August afternoon. And let's be honest, no digital sensor or touchscreen menu can match the instant satisfaction of flicking one of these open mid-drive and feeling the world rush in. Simple, sturdy, and built to last. Unlike today's delicate AC systems with more buttons than a spaceship. The wing window didn't ask for attention, it just worked. Quietly, brilliantly, and with the kind of charm modern climate control will never recreate. Before airbags and crash zones came to spoil the fun, dashboards were metal masterpieces, sculpted in steel, brushed with chrome, and sharp enough to file your will on. These weren't safety features, they were statements. Bold, unapologetic, and absolutely stunning. Painted metal stretched from door to door, packed with real knobs, real gauges, and enough polished surfaces to turn every sunrise drive into a laser light show. But in a crash, that gleaming beauty turned into a blunt force battering ram. There were no crumple zones, just a gleaming slab of Detroit's finest, waiting to remind you why lap belts were optional. And helmets might have been a good idea. Today's dashboards are soft, safe, and scientifically engineered. But back then, they were dangerous, dazzling, and utterly unforgettable, just like the cars they belonged to. Power windows? Nah, we had manual crank handles, the original upper body workout for every car owner. These solid mechanical marvels didn't just open your window, they tested your endurance. Nothing beats the comedy of watching a Jenny. The passengers stare at one like it's an alien artifact, then slowly, reluctantly, start cranking. Welcome to the past, kid. These babies never needed fuses or sensors, just elbow grease. But when that unexpected rainstorm hit or you hit a toll booth unprepared, it was go time. 4 windows, 4 passengers, and simultaneous panic cranking. A beautiful moment of synchronized chaos. Reliable, rugged, and hilariously physical, crank windows were more than a feature. They were a rite of passage, and a reminder that sometimes manual meant memorable.